What's going on, everybody? What's happening? Welcome to Hot Topics. We're excited to have you with us tonight. Do us a favor, go ahead and like this, share this. Let everybody know that you are watching. We're getting ready to have another great, exciting show tonight, and I pray that we'll be able to educate you and entertain you all at the same time. We're always excited to just discuss so many things that are happening in our community, in our country, in our climate, both socially, politically, whatever it is. Our motto here on this show is if it's hot, we are going to touch it. So go ahead, make sure that you're commenting, letting us know that you're watching. We want your feedback, even if it's a contrary point of view. We like to say you have the right to be wrong. Don't do it by myself. So we have 75% of our hosts here tonight. Our other hosts may be chiming in remotely or through comments. So I'll let ladies go first. So I'll let Lady Austin say hello to everybody and make sure she unmutes herself.
Hi everybody, how y'all doing?
We're doing good. How about you?
Can't complain.
I'm all right. Not bad.
And also Mr. Beeline McCord, glad to have him with us tonight. Say hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be on again tonight. Get to chit chat a little bit.
Great, great. Hey, Miss Simpkins. Yeah, you free. You could have been our fourth host tonight. We always like to have you on our show. But I think y'all lost me.
We did.
We see your picture, but not you.
You see my
Hmm.
picture, but not me.
Yeah, you could keep
Yeah.
talking.
Wow, well, what's going on? Why y'all can't see me?
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
Think you might have got censored.
Oh man, y'all censoring me already. I ain't even did nothing yet. Well, anyway, I hope at some point you guys will get to see me. I don't know what's going on, but nevertheless, again, we are happy. We're excited to have you guys on tonight. Um, so Miss Austin, we've been this has been a topic of discussion for quite some time now, as it relates to schools. Schools are officially back open, and to many people's surprise there have been some debates going on, and so tell us about what have you been hearing from teachers and students? How has things been going in the new school openings? You're unmuted. You keep muting yourself.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Um, for the most part, I'm hearing, especially at my son's school, a lot of parents changed their minds. That ones that signed to say they wanted to take their children back, they did not take them back. I think mostly because of the impression that they gave. Because on TV they were saying, oh, on the news, rather, in the media, they were saying, okay, well, schools are reopening, and that's all they were saying. So the impression to most parents, school reopening, you would think, okay, my child's going back to school. Well, the kids went back to school, but only to be looking at a laptop. So the teachers are teaching to a laptop in school and teaching to a laptop in home. And to me, that defeat the purpose, because most people sent their children back, whether it be to have they had to go to work or wanted them to get that structure or for social or whatever it was. But if you're going to be on a laptop regardless, and I know in Broward County the teachers are being told pretty much sit at your desk and teach, don't do anything but sit at your desk and teach, and let them learn from the computer. So that kind of defeats the purpose, so a lot of people pull back. I did hear the superintendent today say, I know he still have a capacity for most of the schools that he want them to be at. Some are over capacity with the amount of kids that came back because it's not full, but over what they wanted to be. Some are under. So parents that are changing their mind, they are they are taking and putting them on a waiting list because he said he won't be allowing parents to change their mind until the end of the first quarter. Because if a school is over the capacity that he want them to be at at the end of the first quarter, he's going to send those kids on the waiting list to another nearby school that may be under capacity, which is probably going to cause a problem because I wouldn't want my child in this kind of situation going to a whole nother school. So that's something that they have to work out as well. And then above all that, I'm still hearing a lot of teachers saying the equipment that they were promised, they either it's on hold, they haven't gotten it yet, which is a shame because you still should have waited to open school. That means you were not ready if the teachers don't have the things that you promised them they were going to have. So
So
that's about the summary of it.
what I'm trying to figure out, just listening to your summary, is that they wanted the kids to come back, but they didn't want them all to come back, obviously. And now parents have to deal with their child maybe at a totally different school, a school that may not even be familiar with, and plus they're still not getting a one-on-one training or teaching. So what is
I
the real purpose of them going
I
back if they're going to
I
be virtual still?
I don't think it's not that they did not want them to come back because remember the state forced them to come back, but they signed a waiver way back in March or so saying that they would accept coming back. However, some parents changed their minds before the deadline, and and at the time when they signed the waiver, it just said stage two. Nobody knew what stage two would mean. So that kind of put a stickler on it, and they still want only so many teachers in the classroom because what's happening is the kids that are home are outnumbering the kids that are in the school. So the teacher is having to cater more to a computer anyway, which is probably the reason why they're telling the kids bring your laptops to just sort of kind of, I guess, cater to them, like babysit the kids that want to be there, and kind of cater to the other kids that still staying home at the same time.
But wouldn't it just be more feasible to have a teacher solely for the online? Because it sounds like they're asking teachers to do both, teach online and those in person. And I'm still trying to figure out how I can preach to a congregation and online and hold everybody attention. So God knows you're talking about a kid. How is a teacher supposed to be able to do that?
I think the problem came in. I know in Broward County with the union, the teachers wanted them to teach. The school board wanted them to do both, but the union was basically saying they're not going to do both. It's either one or the other. So to accommodate, it's like okay, do both, but at one time, long as you're teaching. Now at my son's school, they did something interesting, but to my understanding, this is not all the schools. He has in the morning the teacher, he has two teachers, so but they work together. So in the morning the teacher teaches reading and writing to the kids that are home while the other teacher teach to the kids that are at school. Then in the afternoon the teacher switch and she teach to one kid while to one set of kids while they teach to the other. So that works, but to my understanding all schools are not doing it like that. And his teacher did admit that it was kind of complicated because at school, I think they only have maybe 10 kids in the class. So that means the other 30, 40 something, when you combine the two classes, are on the computer. So it's making it harder to teach on the computer. So either way it go, the teachers got their work cut out for them. And even though it's like considered a babysitting service for a lot of people, long as my child got somewhere to go, the teachers are really being forced back to work because they want to babysit them too. Because it's pretty much like we pay you a salary, we want to see what you're doing and monitor you, and it's probably better to monitor them at school than at home.
And Brandon, of course, you don't have any kids right now, but I know you've talked before about you've talked to kids and parents. What have been some of the frustrations that you've seen in this situation? How are parents really dealing with this?
Yeah, it's kind of mixed. A lot of them are torn. I was actually just talking to some of the kids and a few parents on our youth Bible study last night, and quite a few of our kids aren't even going, but there are a few that are. And they haven't. I think they said they're going Friday, so they're not even sure what to expect, what it's going to be like. So some of them haven't even gotten the experience yet. um, to even see what 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 it's going to be like. So I know a lot of parents are torn. I know a lot of parents that are keeping their kids home, um, but there's also some that can't keep them home. So those are the ones that just they got to send them, and then they just got to deal with whatever the way is going to be. I actually spoke to a teacher here in Florida the other day, a good friend of mine, and she's dealing with that whole trying to figure out both, trying to figure out catering to the kids that are there, and also talking to the kids that are on her laptop. So a lot of them are kind of just doing the whole everybody look at the laptop thing, whether you're here or not, because it makes it easier. It's really hard to teach the two crowds, really. So a lot of them are just saying, even if you're here, just look at your laptop. I'll just teach everybody at once instead of having to duplicate everything. So it's
I think I kept my son home for a couple of reasons. One, if I wanted him to go back, what I want him to go back to school for, my biggest reason for wanting him to go back to school, when and if it's safe, is because school provides children with structure. And in my opinion, if he can't go to school and get the structure, and he's sitting there doing the same thing he's doing here, I'd rather keep him here with me so I can monitor, because I know my son needs help from time to time on the laptop. And to my understanding, teachers are being told to limit their contact with children. So I don't have time for nobody to be getting frustrated and you really can't do your job, but that is your job. They tell you don't do it, but do it. And now he's in the classroom, and that situation is and teachers are getting frustrated. You can't do your job like that, especially the kindergartners. My heart goes out to them, because at the beginning of the school year, kindergartners are already on the emotional roller coaster. Pre-COVID, for example, they've never been in school, some of them. And to my understanding, the parents cannot walk them in the building. You got to walk them to the gate, and then they take them from the gate and take them to class. That has to be heartening for a kindergartner that's never been in a big old building and things like that. I thought that they should have at least let in kindergarten alone go for 1 week, to give the parents, less people, an opportunity in the building, to give the parents a chance to at least walk the kid, to make them feel some kind of comfort. Because to me, they still socially distanced if they got to be like that and be kind of pulled away from their parent. And my other reason, I'm sure we're going to talk about later, I felt like if they couldn't keep old 49 safe from this old virus, then the school show wasn't ready for my child to go back. So those were some of my reasons for choosing to keep my son home, because they're really not getting structure, and on top of that, they don't know what's going on with the virus yet. So,
and I think it's easier for the older kids to stay home. Like your high schoolers, they should maybe look into that. Like, okay, high schoolers, y'all stay home. Maybe you can use the high schools for extra space. I don't know, but a few of my high schoolers in LOZ, they're like, no, we're staying home. They don't need help with the computer. The help that they need is minimal. They don't really need the structure, especially if you're a junior or senior. You about not doing much anyway. So,
but remember the thing about
the little kids need to be there more than the big kids, I think.
But like I said earlier, it's really about making these teachers accountable. Like, they want to say, we can't let you keep sitting home and we paying you. They babies, they don't want to say it, but they want to monitor the teachers as well. They tired of the teachers sitting home. That's why they giving them limited, just like, some teachers are telling me they sitting with 2 kids in the classroom. So you could have kept them home for that sake. But like I said, they want to be able to say, we can see you, we can put our hands on you. You ain't getting up, running to the store and coming back, or something to that effect,
Yeah, Marsha say she worked in school, so she kept hers home. So it's probably to suggest that she understands that the school ain't ready.
A lot of teachers
Tanisha,
did that.
welcome. And
Hey
you,
guys.
we, you mentioned that you kept your daughter home. You kept Spirit home. What was the rationale behind that? Was it just because she was a senior, or you had other underlying reasons?
A lot of what Brandon and First Lady Kim has said, it's just the protection wise. She's a junior.
She's junior. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought she was a
Yeah,
senior.
she's a
Okay.
child. She's a junior. She had already made that decision herself that she wanted to stay home, and she had already said that the teachers in the classroom teaching from the computer. and the
Mhm.
kids are in the classroom sitting there with their computer. So it really didn't make sense to
Mhm.
go to school and just sit there with your computer and you still learning online because that's what they're doing. Just like someone said, it's basically babysitting, for the elementary schools and the middle schoolers. They don't have nowhere for their kids to go. They don't trust them being home. They want to make sure they get their breakfast and lunch, for them to go to school. But then you have a lot of places that had already started e-learning places too. That's some of the cities have given buildings, for e-learning. So that they haven't taken away that option yet. So a lot of them are still there. I'm like, y'all, once they found out that 45 had the COVID virus, Governor DeSantis, they was trying to take away all this money from these schools. They should have just cut that thought immediately because their initial thought was to start it in January and just let it head ride until the second quarter of January, second semester.
Well,
Yeah, well
speaking
the
of which,
thing
since you, oh, go ahead, Cam. I'm saying, speaking of which,
uh
everybody's been talking about it. Yeah, 45, or as someone calls them, number 9, 4 plus, 4 plus 5, tested positive. Him and his wife and about 23 other people in his circle. Looking at him now, you wouldn't know that he tested positive.
shut
Brandon,
up.
there's so many things about this. Uh, if he is positive, I mean, he's just neglecting every single protocol. And some are asking, based upon the rapid, he's the fastest to ever recover from it. Did he actually have it? Well, I mean, I've been all over the place about this, and I've said, well, he has to have it because he's forfeiting his rallies. But then when I'm hearing things that he's saying, I'm like, was this just really a hoax to try to do something else? He had another agenda. What's your stance? What do you
My thing is,
what goes across your mind when you see him at this point?
first of all, it's it's hard to believe anything he says. So we got to start with that. Like, it's hard to believe anything he says, anything that comes out of his camp, anything that he tweets, anything that he releases. It's just hard to trust him. So I really don't trust anything he says. My first instinct is to always think that whatever he's saying, he's probably lying about it. It's probably the opposite. Initially, I kind of thought, okay, maybe he has it. He has kind of been neglecting, no mask, all these things. It would be very likely that he would get it. And heck, he was messing with Joe about wearing a mask, basically saying that he wear one when he think he need one, whatever.
And talk about his
So,
son.
right. So I initially felt like he probably did have it. But the last few days, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I feel like there could be some underlying reasoning behind it. And again, that just goes back to me not trusting him. It goes back to the rapid recovery, I guess you could say. And just, the car drive and by the hospital and all that stuff. And I'm like, you putting all these people in the car with you, your agents that, putting them at risk. I mean, half the White House seems like they got it now. I just don't know. I don't know what to believe. I don't know if he's had it. I don't know if he has it still. I mean, it would be suggested that if he got it when we know he got it, then he would still have it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to experiment with something. It's just really hard to believe anything he says. And then, when you look at the comments he's made, just so out of touch, so tone deaf. It's like he just can't do anything right, it seems like.
You muted.
Let's listen to one of those comments. We're gonna try to dissect really everything that you said. But I noticed his comment, and I'm with you. I want to check this out for a second.
I just left Walter Reed Medical Center, and it's really something very special. The doctors, the nurses, the first responders, and I learned so much about coronavirus. And one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. We have the best medical equipment. We have the best medicines, all developed recently. And you're going to beat it. I didn't feel so good. And 2 days ago, I could have left 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I felt great, like better than I have in a long time. I said just recently, better than 20 years ago. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives. Don't let that happen. We have the greatest country in the world. We're going back. We're going back to work. We're going to be out front. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front. I led. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune. I don't know. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there.
So, Tanisha, he said a couple of things that was kind of
Right.
interesting. I had to do it. That part right there. And I could have been out 2 days ago. Well, hell, you were only in there for 2 days. You was only in the
Right.
hospital for 3 days. Like what? I mean, everything about that statement just seems. I'm with Brandon. Just seems kind of iffy. What's your opinion on
I
that?
I I looked at it as three things, and I think you guys can probably agree. One thing they said it was kind of iffy because if he was taking the respirator or the ventilator, he have to have had it over a period of time. And then my thought is, okay, you were just at the debate. They said that they test you before the debate. What's up with that? And then, and they family refused to wear a mask while they were there. And then it's like, okay, so we believe that it is a hoax. And then the other thing is, if this is something that you have had, you making everyone who have had coronavirus, who family have died from coronavirus, like it's a joke, like it's something to be played with. They have lives that have been lost due to this pandemic, due to this virus, due to this, I guess, disease, if you want to even call it that. People have lost their lives, and you getting on TV like it's just some, hey, it's so beautiful, it's so sweet, how he talks, and then he's standing there at one point, he couldn't breathe. I think you guys may have seen those videos where he was, trying, I wish y'all could see me, do these breaths out, trying to breathe. And then he got lost for a moment, like he had dementia. He was talking and saying, thanks for Pence being here. I wish Melania could be there. She was standing right there beside him. It's like, we don't had enough.
Yeah,
I mean, we
I think something mental was going on with him. He was tweeting crazy last night for like 2 hours straight. It was, I don't know.
Can I say something?
First lady got a hand out there. Buckle your seatbelt.
Oh boy.
No.
Let me grab one of
First
these
of
books
all,
and read it.
they said steroids, if he received some of them steroids, he should have been out anyway, because the medication that they gave him, that's what the scientists and people, they were trying to say that he should be deemed not fit to even run the country taking the kind of medication he take. People are taking this as an experimental drug and being monitored. You taking it and jumping back out there, and then you talking about you feel better than you felt in 20 years, like you took a little blue pill or something. What do you mean better than you felt in 20 years? You got
okay.
something, sir. It's just not adding up for him to take the kind of drug that they say they gave him, and for him to be talking about it like it's a little blue pill or something. And then to think of it to say he might be immune to it. What
Oh
do you
God.
mean you might be immune to what? And then the fact that he say I had to do it, I had to do it. That's what make people think it's a hoax. Cause what did you have to do? Like you tried to catch corona so you could prove that the pill worked? Like that's the dumbest thing you could ever have said. Talking about you had to do it. Like I had to make y'all believe. Put me out there. They gave me the blue pill. I'm good. You could do it too. That's the dumbest thing. I mean, the guy is. Oh God. Move on,
And the
please.
thing about this is, as you said, I think he's building this case up to this next debate to say, I had it, so I know what it's like, Joe.
Right.
You never had it, and I'm
Right.
the best to
Right.
ever recover from it. And
Insulting.
it's so
That's something
tone
to
deaf
be proud
with
about.
privilege because of the fact that,
Right.
okay, a couple of things we know, like in most diseases, viruses, whatever, cancer, early detection is the key, right? So in most cases, number one, you got the best medical care in the world. You would detect, you get tested, quote unquote, every day. So first of all, even if you
No,
did
no, no,
have it,
no.
early detection is the key to anything. You're getting round the clock, round the clock medical care. There are people that have sat in waiting rooms during this period of time for 12 and 24 hours. So it's a slap in the face to the American public who doesn't have nearly the amount of privilege that you have had and have been shot up with the best of everything that's out there, when most people don't even have the proper insurance to get anything other than a minimum care. So I think for the American public, it's just a slap in the face to suggest, as Tanisha said, 200 people have died, many more have been sick long term, and for you to just say in 2 days, don't let it affect, and I get the part of don't let it consume your life. I understand the message in that, but I think the approach and the presentation was just so out of whack, to the point of where you're just trying to say, hey, yeah, I think he's trying to make the American people believe it's really a hoax. Is coronavirus is real, but it's not as bad as people are saying it is.
Yeah.
I
But
think that's the point.
the thing about the testing, they're saying that he stopped getting tested every day. And he pretty much said that a long time ago. He said the people around him have to get tested in order to see him. The doctors couldn't even confirm before the debate when is the last time they tested
Right.
him. That was the problem with them doing the contact tracing, because he didn't get tested into the debate. They was trying to see how long before that, because only the people around him get tested. And then when you say you can understand the part about don't let it consume you, I understand it coming from you, but I don't understand it coming from him, because what's consumed him? People are going in the hospital, don't know how their mortgage gonna get paid. Their bills are piling up. Their children are not able to eat. They don't lost their. He has no relatability. You can't be unrelated on the sense of I took the medicine the best in the world, and you talking to people that can't get the medicine. But oh, don't let it consume you, sir. You're not going through what I'm going through. You're not even an average human. You
And that's coming
subpar human.
and that's coming from a guy who just he gets the best medical care and
Right.
probably paid less taxes than 99% of
Right,
the country. So
He didn't
right.
even pay
On
enough tax to
iodine,
cover the medicine.
right,
on
right,
iodine,
on
and
our dime,
Right.
he don't even talk about his wife. He don't say how she doing. She doing
nothing,
okay. No, he don't
Mm-mm.
mention her.
nothing,
Mm-mm.
It's
nothing.
like
And
he
she
went
probably
to
better
Walter
off
Yes,
that
Reed.
way.
It's like he went to Walter Reed to get away from her for a few
Right.
days.
And she probably
yes.
better off. She better off.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say this right here before I try tap out in 10 minutes. I feel like it was a diversion to
Yes.
right after the debate, because there was so much slack about him talking about coronavirus, so
yeah,
much about him insulting Biden's sons
Mm-hmm.
and a whole lot of other stuff. I felt like that was he felt like a perfect opportunity for him to feel like he's doing something great, because that's how he
I had to
thinks.
do it.
That's how
I
his
had to
team
do it.
allows him to think.
Right.
And then not only that, it gave him attention, because that's what he craves. Who gets
Mm-hmm.
out of the hospital to go outside because he know we got a few people out there to get in your car and wave, like some dictatorship. Like, I mean, like, seriously, how many people out there though? You know what I'm saying? He probably had 20 people out there. He wanted to make sure that he seen got a good photo op of him waving, of course,
for
with his
what?
mask on. Like I'm helping America. In his mind, that's how he thinks, and that's how his people have him think. Like he's doing such a great gesture to us, when it's just it's just failure, complete failure.
This,
Absolutely.
he wants to be the savior, and you're right, Tanisha, to the point. That I think, Kim, that's what a comment I had to do it. It's like somebody said
Right.
in the room and said everything is about stand by, stand back, and stand by. President, it's a good time for you to have corona. It's a great time for you to have corona. We got to change. We got to pivot. We got to change the narrative. So now we've gone from a 24-hour news cycle. We always talk about how fast the news cycle changed, because nobody's talking about the debate anymore. Nobody.
Mm-mm. All the taxes.
Nobody's talking about anything that happened from the debate. It's a good time to have this COVID. You're going to beat it. You're going to beat it in rapid speed. You're not going to be sick long or people to question whether, Pence should take over. Just going to recover real fast to let the American people know we on the track to get this vaccine. And now he's quote unquote pushing this vaccine. And the CDC had to pump the brakes on that. They, no. No, we're not releasing nothing anytime soon. It's just crazy to me
You can't trust
how
them.
this thing is going. But Tanisha, good to have you on. Good to have you on with our cameo appearance. I look forward to chatting up with you back on Monday.
All right, and happy anniversary, Pastor.
Thank you. But it's crazy. It's just crazy to the point of, and Brandon, even the doctors, Dr. Phillips, going back to your point, he tweeted, Dr. Phillips, he works at Walter Reed, said every single person, he was upset, man, that was in the car with that unnecessary drive-by has to be quarantined for 14 days for this 5-minute photo op.
Right. For what? For what? I really just don't get it. I would, I know his followers, I think they kind of speak his language, so maybe they can help me understand. They'll find some kind of justification for it, but I just don't see what the point was. And then, you're supposed to be quarantined for 14 days. He was only in the hospital for 3. So what? I just don't. Nothing adds up. Nothing adds up.
And then he want to go sit in the Oval Office. He can't sit in there and be by himself alone. He want to sit in the Oval Office and get the butler and the maid and the little people seat, right, knowing they ain't finna go get the same treatment.
They not going to Walter Reed if they get sick.
Right. They might get here to Jackson.
Look at everybody that's already sick in there. So why, like?
And they ain't even going to Walter Reed.
No, they're not.
And the people that gathered around him, you haven't heard anything for Chris Christie. You haven't heard anyway for Kellyanne Conway. All these people, you haven't heard anything from them because, again, they're not getting the top shelf care that Trump got. Again, he's so selfish. And that's why you got to be careful the people that follow him because you're not going to get the same treatment. And it goes back to people that want to try. You spew out your mouth some of the stuff Trump talking about. Brother, you ain't got Secret Service with you. Trump could talk like that. He could tweet like that. He got Secret Service. You got some of his followers talking like that, and they going to get hurt. We going to talk about that. So, we got to be careful. But I saw an interview. I'm going to play a little bit of this because this Dr. Phillips guy has been, of course, he's been slammed for the right for stating his opinion, but I want you all to hear his position on it. Now, mind you, this is a doctor at the Walter Reed facility that's making this statement. I want you guys to hear this for a moment.
Says that those Secret Service agents volunteered for that duty, but just let's look at it in terms of public health. I mean, how likely is it that they could contract COVID having been in that sealed car with the patient?
Good morning, and thanks for having me on. The reality is that this was a dangerous move. There is no medical benefit for this to have taken place. It violates CDC guidelines that come from the president's own administration. Now, it bears discussion that I'm a non-military contractor that works at Walter Reed as an emergency physician, and I'm the chief of disaster and operational medicine at GW, which is my primary employer. And I think that the reason why the tweets that I sent out have garnered so much attention is because I was being honest in the moment. And, I've been on the front lines along with Dr. Gupta and the rest of our colleagues for the better part of 10 months, trying to keep people safe, not just on an individual level in our hospitals and emergency departments, but also out here in the public health realm, trying to give good messages. And it's been a back and forth between the medical community and this administration, trying to get the right message to the citizens of America. And beyond the risk that was clearly taking part, the risk that was imparted upon those Secret Service agents, volunteering or not, it's the message that's sent to other people who are sick, that it's okay to go out. We're seeing schools try to reopen, and we're seeing parents who have already sent their kids to school with disease. Yeah. This is the wrong message to be sending. And the only way that somebody can can volunteer for something like this and do it safely is through real informed consent. They have to know the real risks of getting into that vehicle. And my concern is that they didn't.
Just real quickly, because I only have a few seconds.
So this brother brings up a couple of great points. He brings up, Brandon, the point of leadership and subliminal messages that you send, which is, as you said earlier, Biden is being criticized for just wearing a mask all the time. You never see him without a mask. But he's a leader. What he's trying to display subliminally is that if I could wear a mask, you could wear a mask. What Dr. Phillips is saying is, if you really have COVID, you're setting a poor example of I could just go, check myself out the hospital, walk around, affect everybody, it's okay. And he's saying it's not okay because we're out here fighting on the front lines and you're sending this kind of message to, as Kim said, your minions to say, hey, just, and then he said, you are going against your own guidelines. That's the frustration part. These are the guidelines from the White House, and you're going against your own guidelines for selfish reasons.
Right. And the thing is, the whole leadership thing, and I'm, as you know, I'm really big on leadership and principles of leadership and just all the ins and outs of being a leader. It doesn't matter what arena you're in. A leader is a leader, and there's certain things that are interchangeable. And one of those things is, as a leader, you have to be, what you do is just as important as what you say. So your actions are just as important as your words. And one thing that we know about Donald Trump, and this may be an opinion, but he is a horrible leader in what he says and what he does. And this was just another display of that. Going against all guidelines, basically kind of like downplaying it, if you will, and putting other people at risk. And then the things he had to say after just made it even worse. Like no empathy, no nothing. And it's like, dude, you're a leader. You know what I'm saying? And if nothing else, Joe Biden definitely has him in that regard. He's listening to what, he teased him for being in his basement for so long. Well, that's what he was supposed to do. You tease him for having a mask. Well, that was he was supposed to do. He's leading by example. He's not out having rallies and all this stuff. All the things that he literally attacked Biden on things that he was supposed to do to be safe. And he, like it's something bad, like it was a bad thing. So, him as a leader, man, is just, I just don't think it gets any worse. And this was just another example of that. And I commend that doctor for being honest, and being willing to come out and say it, because he's absolutely right.
The thing I got from what the doctor said, which is disrespectful too, of course we know he wasn't empathetic to people, because even if he would have came out and spoke to just apologize, because you acknowledge you downplayed it and over 200 something thousand people died. If you would have started off with that, you might have scared me, but I might have felt that you felt something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on top of that, the doctor talked about the frontline workers. Do you know how angry this probably make a lot of frontline workers feel? They probably had to hold people's loved ones' hands, because the people couldn't hold their loved ones' hands and try to assure them that they gonna be all right, when they probably knew the people weren't gonna be all right. And you talking like, go, they gonna give you some of what they gave me too, you gonna beat this and stuff like that, when people are real witnesses to what happened and what could possibly happen. But the thing about it too is, I know when Pastor was becoming Pastor Zion, they vetted like your family and things like that, and kind of had like interviews and stuff like that. Well, I don't know if they did that with this man, because his niece is coming out and she's saying a lot of stuff. She pretty much said, and God bless the dead, that his daddy was psychotic and he pretty much is his daddy's child. She don't came out and said that. She was like, everything he doing, his daddy did. My granddaddy had the thrill to win. He can't. He was like, she told them this thing gonna get worse. She said he was raised in a home where if you sick, it's a sign of weakness. You don't show people you sick. So she's saying even if he had the virus, she not surprised that he's acting like this. He had to come out and salute the people for 45 seconds and go back in, probably catch his breath and come back out for 45 more because he probably was about to pass out. If y'all saw he was breathing and his hair was blowing, he had to pull himself together. And she pretty much said that. She said none of this is a shocker to her, and she won't be surprised if it goes further than this because he was raised by, she pretty much called her granddaddy psychotic, and she said they had he mentally could not, was raised that when losing is not an option. You have to have power. You have to do this. You have to do that. And she say he's acting just like her granddaddy did. And these people are ignoring it. This man's family is telling y'all. I saw an article where his son is pleading for people to jump in and intervene him. I don't know. I mean, have an intervention with him. Your own son, the one who think he gonna be president one day, he telling people you need an intervention. But nobody is like listening to that because they have made it so much political that they just much as a power struggle as he is. They so concerned about the power, but he is a psychotic person calling for help. And nobody, he just another Kanye. He just the president. He calling for help and ain't nobody answering to him. They too busy catering to him.
Yeah. And it's, you know, when your family, the people that know you start saying it, it's one thing if your enemy say it. You know, it's one thing if the news station saying it, but when your actual family,
fake news, right?
You know, we should probably listen to that. We should probably listen to the trends, because they know you. They know you, and people, they just listen. His supporters they are not having it. You hear me? They are not having it. And I saw something the other day, and I believe it to be true. It said that years from now, people who supported Donald Trump are going to act like they didn't.
Right. Of course.
And we
in 2 months when he out, they gonna act like they didn't.
The receipts. Remember who? Right. Because at some point it's gonna be like they're gonna look back and say, I don't know how I supported that. When right. You know. But so remember, everybody watching, you know, I know you got some friends, some coworkers, something that are Donald Trump fans. Remember, keep the receipts.
They gonna act like somebody slipped them a roofie for 4 years and they went crazy, and now they came back to their sanity.
It's gonna start to come out. Years from now, we're gonna start to see how bad he really was.
But listen at what he said. The doctor said though. Remember, he said, "I basically just say this because I'm not a military doctor." In other words,
right?
I'm not being controlled by Trump, so I can be truthful. See, them other doctors that, and you know, for those that watch the little press conferences, every day those doctors came out with a different lie.
One of the doctors lied and then had to come back and kind of fix it.
Right. Oh, we don't know if we gave him oxygen. I got to check. We don't know when the last time. We don't. I mean, what is you doing this press conference for if you don't know nothing?
No, he straight up lied. Straight up lied. And that's why you can't trust anything. Not just that comes out of Trump's mouth, but you can't even trust anything that has his hands on it.
Right.
Yeah, because you talk about Chris Christie ain't saying nothing. He can't. He in the hospital himself. He ain't got out in no 2 days. You could look at him and tell he got underlying health issues. You talking about Kellyanne Conway. She ain't got to say nothing. Her daughter talking out because her daughter mad that she gave her house COVID. She told y'all, my mama walk around here with COVID and coughing like ain't nothing wrong. Now her daughter got COVID. And then we not going to even talk about Giuliani. They don't have to tell us he got COVID because he got something. And they better treat it or keep him off TV. And whoever speak on that mic he was on, they need to throw the whole mic away. So certain stuff don't have to be said, okay?
Right.
And this is why, you know, going back to just the way the structure of the branches work, there's a separation of power that was formulated so that people can do their job without the fear of being fired.
Right.
So that's why the Faucis of the world exist. He doesn't work for quote unquote Trump. He didn't work. He served up under 5 different presidents because He works for the United States of America. He doesn't work. So anybody who doesn't work for Trump, they're trying to give us the truth. And every time Trump finds a way to move that person out of the way or remove the platform so that he can be the sole voice.
Yeah, dictator.
Dictator qualities in America. And that's why it bothers me, because, you know, people on the right are quick to talk about the Constitution. They're quick to talk about what the founding fathers set up, but they allow this man to destroy all levels of power. And there's one voice.
Right.
And if it's not Trump's voice, it doesn't matter. And it just bothers me how we have thrown democracy out the window for one guy.
Yeah, that's why they can't. That's because they can't say why they really like him.
But when he campaigned the first time, he told y'all he was gonna basically change everything. He said it. And they voted for this type of change. He constantly said and did things that pretty much said, I am going to be this kind of person. I'm going to show you who I am. You better believe it. And they still voted him in. And when he got in, he did pretty much everything he said. And he is true to his campaign.
And you know what? I'm not going to even, you know, we've been blaming the American people a lot for Trump. But I'm not going to blame the majority of the Americans. You know why? Because the man lost the popular vote by almost 3 million votes. That's a lot of people. It's people in these backwoods, in these rural towns, that hillbilly towns, that allowed Trump to get we've got to be honest. The majority of Americans did not support Trump.
Yeah, that's a systematic problem.
Right. So we got to understand that over 3 million people voted. He lost by over 3 million votes, the popular vote. So we got to understand that this is not the way most Americans think.
Yeah.
It's this electoral college system, and a lot of these senators, I don't know if you guys saw this, they did a vote for because all this, you know, is Trump going to leave, you know, kicking and screaming. And so they put a vote on the floor to say, would you support a transfer, a smooth transfer of power? And 5 senators voted against that. Like, how you don't support a transfer of power if Trump loses?
He lost.
Because it's about them. It's not about America, the policy, the people. It's about them.
It's about him. Okay.
Yeah, it's about them and him. Because they pretty much feel, I don't done so much damage under Trump. If I support something different, then I'm going to be exposed. When Trump go, most of them know they got to go. And they ways got to go. Because they know if Trump go, it's not going to be the same.
It's a cult. It's a fandom. It's idolatry. What other word? I come up with a whole bunch of other words for it. Okay, that's what it is. It's not even about Republican. It's not about Democrat.
No.
Literally got boat parades and stuff where it's his flag. We never seen anything like this.
Right.
Did you see his flags running down the street when he went out there?
Right. You see the Trump flag more than you see the American flag.
The American flag. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's not even about the politics of it. It's about the person. They like the person, which is more troubling than anything. I'd rather you say, I like his policies.
Right.
No, they like the person, which is really troubling because he's not a good person. So that's what it's about. They can't come out and say that. They cannot say that because they understand and they see what his issues are. But they like the person. There's a truck that I see driving around the neighborhood, not the neighborhood, but the neighboring neighborhood. And it used to have a Confederate flag on it, right? So when all the stuff with the Confederate flag happened or whatever, I noticed that they took it down. Well, they replaced the Confederate flag with the Trump flag. Literally, same spot on the truck is
modern day. That's the modern day flag.
And we had the Confederate flag is the Trump flag, and that it like clicked me. I'm like, this is the modern day Confederate flag. That's what it is. It's not about politics. It's not about any of that. It's about, no, I like the person. I like what he represents. And we're going to wave this flag. We're going to have parades with this flag. We have never seen anything like this with a president of the United States. He has his own flag.
Right.
That's troubling. That's troubling.
Not a campaign flag. Not a campaign flag. No, he had the Trump. Oh, let's talk about the coin. The $100 Trump survived COVID coin.
COVID coin, yes.
$100.
Brandon, you didn't hear about that?
That's news to me.
I'm like,
they selling it.
Coming to America. He has his own money. He has his own money. $100 for not I survived COVID. No. Trump survives COVID. $100. Yes,
and this $100. This is the same man when Obama was president. He used to criticize people for having Obama paraphernalia and stuff like that. Yeah. In Obama's defense, he didn't open up his own shop to sell his paraphernalia. No, it was just if you knew where to find it. Yeah. People made money off of it. Trump making this money off of it in some way or another. Obama about don't know half of the stuff that was out there with his face on it.
Coin.
And again, I can get the I survived COVID coin. I can kind of vibe with that. Okay, but Trump,
y'all lying to me.
Yeah, $100.
No, yeah, he do. He got a couple different paraphernalias about him and surviving. The coin is definitely one of them. I saw that too.
Yeah. It's in the White House gift shop.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to find it. It's in the White. It's in the White House gift shop, man.
Blown my mind is right now at the level.
But they haven't even opened the White House back up yet, right? Or maybe people buying it online.
Not half of the people in there got COVID.
Right.
I saw a tweet there that said that the White House is probably one of the most unsafe places to be in.
It's at the epicenter. It's the epicenter of the virus.
Center of the doggone is the epicenter. Yeah, it's the epicenter, man. That's not
okay. That's not okay. There's a problem with that. That's supposed to be the safest place in this country.
Right, the safest place, and now it's because again, one man and all these people following this one man. And he don't give a crap about, and all them gonna be sick for God knows how long. The truth is, when are we gonna see the doll baby again? The press secretary. That's gonna let you know. Yeah. When we gonna see her? That's gonna let you know. I think I got the coin. I think this is the coin. It's crazy. They selling this coin. They selling this coin, man. It's but then. Brandon, to make matter worse, now he's dangling the stimulus check over our heads. I was going to sign this bill, but guess what? I'm not until I quote, until I win the election. Then, now, Kimberly, we just had a show about the rush to Supreme Court. We got to rush that. But when it comes to getting more money to the American people, let's wait till after the election for that. What does that say to the American people?
I mean, it says what we've said tonight and what we've said just about every show. The man does not care about average people. The man only cares about people. Well, he don't even care about people connected to him. That's a lie too. He only care about people that is minions to him, that follows what he say and what he do. You can't just be connected to him and care. You have to do, what he wants you to. Yes, people, pretty much, put it that way. You have to be a yes person. I'm looking for this debate to happen tonight and Pence to piss him off, because he gonna throw him under the bus come tomorrow, because Kamala gonna kill him. So he gonna be talking about, mark my word, I said it right here, folks. Kamala coming for him tonight, and I'm looking for him to get pissed, because Pence ain't gonna be there to make Pence do as he do. And that's another thing we didn't talk about. Well, I guess we'll talk about that when we talk about the debate part, because the man who's supposed to be in charge of the COVID, he couldn't even protect the president. He been in charge of the leadership of the coronavirus. He could even protect the president. But back to that about the stimulus. This man does not care because, again, he's gonna not miss a meal. He can afford to miss one, but he's never gonna miss a meal as your president. He gonna get sick and get the best doctor care. He doesn't have to worry about what roof is over his head. He don't have to worry about children. The things that the average Joe has to worry about. When you look at some of Joe Biden's commercials, he show that he's relatable. They talk about his daddy didn't have much money, did the best he could, how Joe was raised, how he raised his children. They don't say nothing about Trump's childhood. They don't talk about his mama, his daddy, his sister, his brother, nobody. You know why? Because nobody in his family was vetted to eat. They don't even talk about his wife don't even have a commercial. Michelle Obama had commercials for Barack. His wife don't have a commercial. His children, nobody has no commercial supporting this guy as a family person at all. Even during the convention, he barely struggled. His wife struggled to get through that speech, and he got pissed off at her because she was empathetic to American people. So this guy only cares about Trump. And the stuff that the American people have to worry about that they need that $1,200 for, he could give a rat's you know what.
And Brandon, and he tweeted today, you said something earlier, and I wanted to go back to that. These erratical tweets. So one tweet was, "I'm holding it,"
Right.
but then the stock market pummeled. Stock market went haywire. So then he come back and say, "Move fast. I'm waiting to sign. I'm waiting to sign the standalone $1,200." Now, 1 second you ain't gonna do it. Stock market crash. Now you're going to do it, but he keep dangling this $1,200 like vote for me, vote for me. I mean, he literally might as well just say, "I'm selling the vote."
But didn't we say this was gonna come, Brandon? We said this back a long time ago, right before the election. You was gonna get a cure for COVID, and you was gonna get off of the stem. We said this months ago.
Yeah, and that nothing surprises me with this guy, but that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to sell a vote. Like, listen, okay, you vote for me, I win, you get another $1,200. It's really that simple. That's what he's doing. Okay, listen, vote for me, I'm gonna win. The very next day, you're gonna have that $1,200. I got you.
They might as well make a commercial on
that. He in the hole with me.
That confirms that he don't really care about y'all, man. He don't care. It ain't about let's get this to the people. It ain't about our people need help. Let's stimulate the economy. It's not what it's about. Okay, if you wanna just do something because it's the right thing to do, you're gonna just do it, right? You're not gonna say, "Well, I'll do it if you do this," right? Well, if we want to do a giveaway at the church. Well, if you come to church Sunday, then I'll give it to you. No, when we want to do a giveaway, we go out and do it. We don't make people come to church to get something, right? When we did the gift card giveaway, during this whole thing, we didn't make people come get it. We drove around Broward County and went and took it to them. Why? Because we wanted to do it. It wasn't like, "Oh, come to the church and do it, and then you get it." No. So when you really want to do something, you're just gonna do it. When you know it's the right thing, you're just gonna do it. That ain't what he's about. Vote for me, you get $1,200. I need everybody to understand that them $1,200 ain't worth it.
Remember, he want his name on these checks. He want his name on these checks. He wants to get the full credit for them, and he wants to dangle it out. But when it comes to that Supreme Court, no, we got to do that right now.
I forgot to mention, that's the other thing. So you can rush to put someone in a seat that powerful. We can rush that, right? But we got to wait for you to really just sign something to send money. That's all it's going to take to send that money out, him signing something. So it shows you where his priorities are. It shows you what he cares about. All right. It's all about the power. It's all about the legacy. And people need to understand, if you're not convinced already, this should convince you that the man does not care. Them $1,200 not worth it. Anybody that got it probably don't even remember what they spent it on. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth him being a president another 4 years. I'm telling you.
I didn't even get it. So, and the thing about that, to go back to the Supreme Court argument, I think it's 6 or 7. I think it's 6 senators that has COVID, to the point where they shut the Senate meetings down. They're not even in Washington right now. but they're still trying to do this Supreme Court nomination virtually. They too sick to show up to work. But we're going to still find a way to get this nominee pushed through.
Lord have mercy.
You know, it's just a slap in the face to the American people. That's just what it is. It's a slap in the face to the American people, and we got to go back to continue to push people to let them know that elections have consequences.
Yeah.
They have consequences because it's just not about the president. He wouldn't be able to do half of this stuff if he didn't have these senators backing his crazy play.
Right. And they, I'm not sure who's worse, him or them. I really, because some of them is like, you know, you see their hypocrisy, you know, things they said when Obama was in office, and then they let him do it. It's just like, have some dignity, have some pride about yourself. At least be consistent with your word.
I think they're worse.
Don't be a clear hypocrite. Okay, don't be a clear hypocrite. Like, come on now.
It's funny you said that, Brad. I want you guys to see something. I found a very hilarious. You know, one of his biggest allies is Lindsey Graham. You know, who, by the way, if you guys remember, was supposed to be very, very close friends with John McCain. Supposed to be like his buddy, his best friend. And we know how John McCain felt about, you know, Trump, you know. And, you know, Lindsey Graham, it just seems like every chance he's getting, he's spitting on his friend's grave. But things are, speaking of hypocrisy, there's a brother that is coming for Lindsey Graham. I want you guys to see this because this thing is getting heated. You can't take your eyes off the ball. It's bigger than Biden and Trump. I've been closely watching this, brother, and I want you guys to see this real quickly.
Sometimes listening to Senator Graham is like, it reminds me of playing Monopoly with my son. You change the rules, he changes the rules every time he gets. You know, Senator, you said, use my words against me.
I want you to use my words against me. If there's a Republican president in 2016 and a vacancy occurs in the last year of the first term, you can say, Lindsey Graham said, let's let the next president, whoever it might be, make that nomination. You
know, my grandfather always taught me, he said, Jamie, a man is only as good as his word. Well, Senator, how good is your word when you made a promise to the American people? And even more, you made a promise to the folks in South Carolina that you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now. And that's the problem that I have. The greatest, I think the greatest heresy that you could do as a public servant is to betray the trust of the people that you took an oath to serve. And that's what you have done. Now, just be a man of it and stand up and say, you know what, I changed my mind. I'm going to do something else. But don't go back and blame it on somebody else for something, a flip-flop that you're making yourself. My grandaunt Gladys passed away this July in a nursing home by herself. That is the story that so many Americans are experiencing right now. And part of why we're experiencing, no, we're not going to blame the president. We shouldn't blame the president. We shouldn't blame anybody for the inception of this disease. But where blame should come is how we handle this disease, whether or not we take it seriously. You know, tonight I am taking it seriously. That's why I put this plexiglass up, because, you know, it's not just about me. It's about the people in my life that I have to take care of as well. My 2 boys, my wife, my grandmother. North Carolina is now one of 12 states that still have refused to expand Medicaid. And they haven't done it because we can't pay for it. The government, the federal government was going to pay for the first 5 years of this thing 100%, and then the state had to pick up 10% after that. It is because it was tied to Barack Obama. Let me tell you something. Part of the reason why we have had 4 rural hospitals to close in South Carolina over a few years And if you live in one of those communities and you have diabetes or complications with your pregnancy and all, and now it takes you, instead of 10 minutes to go to hospital, 50 minutes to go to hospital, that is a death sentence. We need a senator who understands, put politics aside and put the people first. I'm still paying off it 20 years after graduating from college. My wife and I are still paying off our student loan debt. And that's a burden for so many young folks.
Mr. Harrison, pay off your student loans so somebody else can go to school.
You are worried about everybody else's paycheck other than your own. When you said over our dead bodies, will we allow an extension of the unemployment benefits for folks who are desperate right now just to make ends meet? What about the fact that you have raised your salary 3 times, Senator? I wish many of us could raise our salaries like that, but you've raised yours 3 times, and you are worried more about my bills than I am. In addition to my household, I have 2 boys that I have to take care of along with my wife, but I also have a grandmother who's the elderly who I help pay bills. I also have a mom who was foreclosed on her home before, and I help her as well. And so
So I wanted you guys to see that for a couple of reasons. Because the brother, he laid him out. You know, he laid him out, talked about all his hypocrisies. And
I had no idea we were going to play that either.
He laid him out, man. And he calls out his hypocrisies, but he calls out his privilege.
Yeah.
Because the man talk about just pay your student loans. And, you know, so somebody else can go to school. Bruh, 99% of America have been paying student loans all their life.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the part people don't understand. You put people in office that has no idea what it's like to be you.
Right.
You know, and this is why, you know, I wish I lived in South Carolina, but these are the type of people that are sitting senators who have been in this seat for decades.
Yeah.
Who think like this. This is how they think. They don't care anything about student loans. Cut that. No, I just can't pay them off. Who can write a $50,000 check? Just pay it off. You know. It doesn't matter. You mean you can't pay it off? You can do that, Lindsey Graham, when you work $20-30 million. You could do that. The average citizens don't have that luxury. The man got on TV and said, if a Supreme Court seat comes vacant under a first-term president, let the other president do it. And the man now is, I don't know. Go ahead, Kimberly. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that I want Kamala to wear pants out like this man did just now tonight. But you know the problem gonna be, it's gonna be the angry black woman. She ain't gonna be able to do it like this man did it. But that's the kind of debate I'm looking for tonight. For Kamala to talk about all Pence foolishness and all his following of 4-9 and everything he did to play 4-9 puppet and all the sacrifices he risked for his political career, like so many of them. That's why I say I think they're worse than Trump, because a lot of them are risking their political career. Trump knew when he won the first time, if he don't win again, it's over. He wasn't a politician in the first place. But you all claim this what you was built for, this is what you whatever for, and y'all have careers and y'all don't have the integrity to stand behind y'all career. You're gonna let him take it down the drain. But that's what I'm looking for Kamala tonight. She already boarded the plane, got off in her Timberland. She might as well had on some sweatpants and some hoop earrings when she got off the plane, because she came ready for battle. But she gonna get called the angry black woman if she come out like that.
So what, Brandon, go to our last topic. What are you looking to see? What are you expecting from, and guys, you could tune in as well. What are you guys expecting from the debate tonight? Tenor, tone, subject matter. You know, as Kim said, we already know somebody's already typing up the narrative for Kamala Harris. So what are you expecting, Brandon, we're gonna see tonight?
I'm expecting it to, for one, be cleaner than the presidential debate was. You know, one thing I know about Pence is that he ain't great, but he's not Donald Trump. So he's got that going for him. And I don't think he is that rude, disrespectful kind of person like Trump is. So I don't expect him to really badger her like personally like Trump was doing. So I think that I'm expecting the debate to be a little bit cleaner. I think Kamala is stronger than him for sure. But like him said, she may have to be careful with that because of the angry black woman thing. But I think they're gonna say that anyway. So
Right.
let them have it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the narrative, I think the script has already been tight. It's just waiting to hit sin.
Let him have it. Show why you will be a better vice president than he will be. For one, he was supposed to be the leader of this COVID thing. We have not seen him talk about it. This was his
Well, he don't have it, so that's saying something.
This was his baby.
This is his baby. His baby.
The press conference they had announcing that he was going to be taking care of it. We haven't seen him since. Okay, so I think she, she's got a lot of support, a lot of steam behind her right now. I think she just needs to add to that and let him have it. Show everybody, respectfully that she's going to be a better vice president, and I think she'll do that. And I think I'm hoping that where Biden lacks, and in the past before she was even anyone that remember, I was pretty critical of her. I wasn't really a big fan of her. So I don't just remember everybody else's stuff. I remember what I say too. So I wasn't a big fan of her, and I had my reasons, and I stand by some of that. But I am looking forward to her being vice president, and I think where Biden lacks, I think she can be strong in those areas. So the people need to see that. We need to look at it as a package deal. Like, look, yeah, he's going to be president, but we're getting both of you. So and that's what a good backup does. You fill in where the number one person is weak or is lacking or whatever. So I think we need to see that from her tonight. And there are people out there that's going to vote for Biden just because this is his running mate.
Right, of course. So, they were waiting, and I think, and I'm with you. First of all, I said that I never thought he would pick her out of all the ladies.
Yeah,
but I believe that tonight is why he picked her.
Yeah.
Because if you guys remember, she was the first person to start tearing Biden down. To the point where I said at the first debate, she's out. She loaded her gun and she shot and she aimed it at the king.
Yeah.
She better come hard.
She aimed it at the king. So I think when he was picking out of all those beautiful women that were well capable, Bottoms and Abrams and all those women, I think he had tonight in mind. Like, I need her to light Pence up like she lit me up.
Right. And the thing about it is that Pence is, like I said earlier, he's kind of in the background. So there's not much to attack on him personally or what he's done specifically, because really he ain't done nothing. So
won't let him speak, won't let him do nothing.
Right. It's really gonna be, talking against the administration and the guy that he works for. So that could be good for Pence, but it could also go really bad for him because he's guilty by association. So,
but he don't know nothing about the administration. They ain't told him nothing. He just live there.
Listen,
so he might not have no defense,
and that's bad. Your second in command gotta know. They gotta know.
This is the first time in modern history that we hear more about the president's children than we do the vice president.
Yeah,
the president's children get more spotlight.
Yeah.
I mean, even at the NRC, the president's children got. I think they were. I want to say. I'm trying not to lie. I want to say that Pence wasn't even. I think one of his child. I think Junior spoke after Pence, if I remember correctly. Like, his children get more spotlight.
Yeah. It's about their name. Yeah.
Right. It's about the name. And I'm with you, Kim. I think we can't be surprised if, Mr. Maniacal Trump, because he don't know how to not hit sin. If Pence doesn't do something right, if he don't jump hard enough, he gonna say something. he's going to, they're going to do the interview afterwards. Joe Biden's going to say, I think Kamala did a great job. Trump not going to be so supportive.
Mm-mm.
He's going to find a way to say he could have did better. He could have, because he doesn't even like this guy.
Right.
Mm-mm.
I'm really, and I think even if he does well, I'm really interested to see what Trump is going to have to say, because he really can't speak well of anyone other than
No,
himself.
other than his children,
And yeah,
not even
Because
his
in
wife.
Trump's mind, if you didn't go down in the gutter, you ain't working hard enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And if
But-
you came out of the gutter and you didn't lift me up, you still ain't go hard enough. When you went
But
down, you supposed to raise me. That's how he feel.
I think more words are going to get out in this debate. I think, more issues are going to be discussed. I don't think we're going to hear clown. Or I don't think we're going to hear any of those things. Shut up. I don't think so. Now, if we do, then I think that this is really going to be an attack on the black lady. Let's just attack her. I'll be surprised. But, Kim, last words. What, again, you talked about a little bit. Well, what else are you trying to see from this debate tonight?
I'm just trying to see the next day for it to the debate to erase all that we've seen this week. Because quite frankly, whether Trump had the virus or didn't have a virus, I'm just quite frankly tired of talking about him. He's just a walking virus at this point, with the stuff that's coming out of his mouth, with just all the things he's doing with the greatest people's families and things like that. So I'm really just hoping that this whole debate erase anything that he set out to accomplish this week, because I agree with some of what Tanisha said about being a diversion, because nobody again talking about his taxes and just other stuff that nobody's talking about that needs to stand out and be talked about so close to the election. And I think he's not done yet with what he wants to put out coming up, leading up to the election. So I just hope whatever happened in this debate, specifically in Kamala Harris' favor, just overdrown the foolishness that the walking virus has out there.
Well, guys, that's our show. We got, I think, another 30 minutes before the debate starts. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what fireworks comes out of this debate. And you know what? 7 days from now, we'll talk about it along with some other things that we weren't able to get to. But listen, voting has already started. Wherever you're watching this from, voting has already started. And so if you're going to vote by mail, go ahead and do it. Get it out the way. I would suggest go to your local precinct and drop it in the box there, because we've been hearing all types of horror stories about that. I'm an election day voter, so I'm going, November 3rd. Unfortunately, it's never really a long line. I hope it is, but if it is, I'm willing to stand in it. But I'm gonna be looking forward to the night, seeing what's gonna happen, and we're gonna see what's what. Guys, this has been our show. We look forward to having the game back here next week. We'll see what's going on. Let's go Heat. We're gonna see what we're gonna do Friday. We took a crucial loss. We took a crucial loss last night. It was heartbreaking, but we look forward to Friday night rooting them on. So if you're not a Heat fan, become one. Let's go Canes. We got a big game coming up this weekend. And the Marlins, at least win a game.
They gotta win tomorrow.
Come on. They gotta win tomorrow. They gotta win tomorrow.
Sports doing something right now, man.
Right, man. Miami sports, we're doing something, man. It's a good time to be a Miami sports fan. So
we coming. Don't worry. We're heading in the right direction. We're heading in the right direction.
All right, guys. We love you guys.
We kept up with the Seahawks.
Almost, man. If you could have scored one touchdown, boy.
Before the fourth quarter ended.
Just one touchdown, man. I think the ghost of Sperano was creeping up.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh my God.
The goal line.
Field goal Sperano was creeping up in the Dolphins, man. Yeah, so let's try. If not, we might see Tua out there on the field. So We're going to see. All right, guys. We love you. We'll see you next time. Peace.